February 19th, 1880, Herzog, Kansas. Meine liebe Tochter, I pray this letter finds you in good health, and that the harsh Russian winter has been kind to you and the children. How is little Rosalia? I still cannot believe my Anna Mädchen has a daughter of her own. I imagine her wrapped in a warm blanket, her tiny hands grasping at her brother's, already ruling over them, as only little sisters can. How I long to see her with my own eyes. And the boys, are they growing strong? Tell me of Liebenthal, Anna. Sometimes I close my eyes and try to picture Heim as it was when I left. But time does not stand still, and I know change has happened. Elizabeth was truly joyful to hear that she will soon be eine Großmutter again. How strange it is to receive such blessed news from so far away, carried only by ink and memory. Perhaps by the time this letter reaches you, the little one will already be in the world. Each evening, we keep Gottfried and his family in our prayers, asking that God grant a safe birth and a strong beginning for the child. Even across this great distance, the joys of our families still bind us together. You asked about the Vonfeldt family and the story behind Großvater Andreas Braun's departure so long ago from Deutschland for Russia. Anna, you are right. There has long been a story surrounding the Vonfeldts. It is said that Johannes's father was not Deutscher by birth, though he lived among us in Herzog as one of our own. He, along with several others in our village, had once marched under Napoleon's banner. During the ill-fated campaign toward Moscow, these men, among them Christian Vonfeldt of Belgium, was captured by the Tsar's army. Rather than being sent back to France, they were placed in our village along the Volga, for they spoke our language. Many of these soldiers remained with us in Herzog. They married daughters of the village, took up the plow instead of the sword, and built their lives among us. And so it has long been said that not all who call the Volga home are Deutsche by blood. Christian Vonfeldt is proof of that. Yet tell me, Anna, is it not the heart that makes a man one of our own, rather than the name he was born with? As for my Großvater, I never knew him. He was murdered by the Kirkis raiders before I was born, but my father, Nicholas, told me what he could. Times back in Das Alte Land had grown unbearable. The Saarland lay in ruins after the 7 Years' War, and poverty and hunger ruled the land. Großvater and his wife had already buried a son when Catherine the Great's invitation reached them. The promises of land, freedom, and exemption from military service must have seemed like a dream, almost too good to believe. Yet what choice did they have? Remain and starve, or leave and trust in God's providence? So they went, his wife heavy with child, setting out on a journey that offered no certainty. Life in Russia was never easy, but at least they were free, and Großvater paid the ultimate price for that freedom. But now, Anna, sometimes I ask myself, was it all in vain? If we do not remain faithful to God's will, if we do not defend what was built with such suffering, then for what did he give his life? But what weighs heaviest on my heart is this news from Russia. The Russification has begun. The Tsar's men will not stop with the larger colonies. In time, they will come for Liebenthal also. You know as well as I do. And when they come, what then? Will they take your sons for the Tsar's army, just as they have begun to do in the other villages? Will they raise them as Russians and teach them to forget the faith and the language of their fathers? Will our prayers, our songs, even our very Sprache one day be silenced? I do not ask this to frighten you, mein Kind, but because I must. If there was ever a time to leave, is it not now? I know Johannes does not wish to go, but what of my other children? What does Maria say? And Joseph? And Georg? Do they see what is coming? Will they stand firm? or will they too be forced to one day bend? Here in Herzog, things are changing as well, though in a happier way. So many families have arrived that the church we built only a few years ago is already too small. It is a good problem to have, but a problem nonetheless. Plans are already being discussed for a much larger church, one that will stand for generations. Gott will es. Father Joseph, our pastor since 1878, has been a great blessing to our growing community. Last August, he was joined by two nuns, Sisters Agatha and Arya, who opened a school for the children. Stanislaus is still too young to attend, but someday, God willing, he will. It is a great comfort to have the hands of God here among us, guiding and teaching our children. Oh, Anna, if only you could see it. So many familiar faces, so many voices raised together in the hymns we have always sung. At times, it feels as though we have rebuilt a small piece of home upon this Kansas soil. Elizabeth has also grown close to Widow Arnold over the past few years, their shared sorrow binding them together in quiet understanding. Both know what it is to lose a husband and carry on beneath the weight of grief. As you know, my Elizabeth has been married twice before we wed, and in Widow Arnold, she has found a friend who understands such burdens. It was through this friendship that we were invited to her daughter's wedding last September. It was a beautiful celebration. And oh, Anna, how it stirred old memories within me. I could almost see your mother again, her hands trembling as we knelt upon the sheet before walking to the church. The music, the dancing, the tables heavy with food, the whole village gathered together. One custom in particular made me smile. Young men posted guard at the doors to greet each guest with a toast. You remember, nicht wahr? Each time a guest arrived, they would say, Steh gute Hand, and thus the greeter must drink the schnapps in their place. By nightfall, those poor fellows were scarcely standing upright, leaning against the door frames for support, while their laughter rattled the windows. It was a merry sort of foolishness, and for a little while it felt as though we had never left home. And then, of course, I remembered your own Hochzeit, yours and Johannes's. Do you remember how the procession wound through the streets? The bells ringing, the laughter, the prayers. It comforts me to see that these traditions have not been lost in this new land. Though we are far from our home along the Volga, we have carried our ways with us. Yet even as I smiled, a fear pressed upon my heart. I looked at the young faces around me, so full of hope, and I wondered, how long before even these memories begin to fade? How long before the songs we know are forgotten? I want to believe that we are building something lasting here, Anna, something your children might one day call their own. But when I think of you and your little ones so far away, still facing the old dangers and the old threats, my heart feels torn in two. I do not wish to press you further. I know your heart is already heavy, but I beg you, do not let fear or duty bind you if there is still a way forward. Write soon, mein Kind. I hold you and your family in my prayers every day. Dein liebender Vater, Joseph.